Hello everybody, it's Dr. Steve. March 1st in the Midwest here in Clarksville, Indiana at Lapping Park. Beautiful spring day. The spring peepers, the new baby frogs have come out. Awesome day. And today I want to share with you a little lesson about each of the 3 pillars of core wellness. I'm going to try and make this concise and to the point as possible. First thing with the core wellness mindset. Big mindset piece I learned today, and I want to reiterate to you, is that I was struggling the last few days with a lot of stress. Websites went down. I was dealing with tech support and all that kind of stuff, and I felt myself getting wound up. And then today, I finally had to stop, remove myself, and say, no, I'm going outside. Beautiful day. I'm going to move. I'm going to walk. I'm going to exercise my body in nature, and I'm going to re-ground myself. So that's exactly what happened, and the clarity is amazing. So my encouragement for you is to always move outside. Get movement in nature whenever you feel stuck. It's like a reset button. It really is. So go for that. The other thing about the mindset piece is that I was on my way to the gym actually to get some exercise that way, and as I was traveling I thought, wow, it's a crazy day. And so I stopped and I drove into this park and I looked down one of the trails, and it was wet and muddy, and I was like, oh no, it's not, I wanted to be a fair weather hiker, but then I thought, no, I really wanted to do that. So my point there is to bust through things that make you uncertain and take a little bit of risk. Calculated risk, but get out there and put yourself out there. And I found out that, yeah, I had to run, and I've been mucking through mud, but it's made me work on my core. It's made me stay more focused. And luckily I wore my old shoes. But hey, you know what? I did it. It's the classic follow your bliss into the woods. The famous quote by Joseph Campbell, right? Follow your bliss into the woods, and take that step, follow what you feel like you need to do, and do it, and let adventure take you where you need to be. So that is the mindset piece. The nutrition piece is, recently I posted on Facebook some new research about insulin resistance and inflammation. Remember, inflammation is at the root of all disease processes. It's at the root of fatigue, it's the root of pain, it's the root of cancer, it's the root of heart disease. Nothing can be broken down and degenerated without the process of inflammation. So at all costs, we have to lower inflammation in our bodies, and the big lesson here is less grain, more green. Grain feeds down the inflammatory pathway, green feeds down the anti-inflammatory pathway. If you're eating animal products, you only eat things that have been fed, eat things that have been fed green food. That means grass-fed, everything, if you're going to choose animal products. Better yet, eat all the green yourself and let your body turn all of that green food into the fatty acids you need that are anti-inflammatory. So less grain, more green. Less omega-6, more omega-3. Okay, that's the chemical names for that stuff. The other thing about inflammation is whenever you pour omega-6s into the funnel in the form of grain, right, or a lot of vegetable oils, whenever you pour the grain into the funnel over here, whenever you put high sugar loads into that system, it makes it divert even more into the inflammatory cascade called arachidonic acid. So we want to avoid the high insulin spikes from eating too much sugar. And so by getting less grain, more green, less sugar and carbohydrates in your diet, you're going to have less inflammation in your diet, and you're going to be healthier all the way around, guaranteed. Last thing, movement. I had a conversation with a gentleman through Skype yesterday from St. Augustine, Florida, and we were talking about crossed posture syndrome, and he's like, well, how, I'm worried about my kids. I see this in my kids. I see their sway back, and I see the kind of the scapula sticking out in the back, and I see the arches kind of falling, and I'm worried about my kids with this crossed posture syndrome. Why does it happen? And it made me realize it's really not understood that a full 1/3 of all people, as we develop as infants, a full 1/3 do not go through that process just perfectly and beautifully. A full 1/3 of us have a tendency for shrugged shoulders and chest breathing and overloading the low back. And quite honestly, these are the people I most often see at my office with pain. So that's not to say people without crossed posture problems don't have pain. They do, but I'm just saying that it's very, very, very important to screen yourself for this And please at least do the upper quarter test, which is the floor angel test that I have. If you don't have that, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, at least go to gettoyourcore.com and click on my picture and get the reverse CPS Now series. It's got some self-tests in there to screen yourself to make sure that you're not suffering from this and it's not causing all of the downstream sequelae that occur, like the neck tension, the headaches, the back pain, the foot pain, the knee pain, everything else, the hip pain that comes along with it. So that's the movement piece, is understanding that a full 1/3 of us have a propensity because we didn't go through that developmental process correctly. So my movement piece is make sure you get screened. Okay, now the screens that I have on that program or on that free series they're scratching the surface. You got to understand that this is to pick up the big glaring problems, right? It's not going to pick up the little minute problems. It's going to pick up the big problems. If that's my goal here, is to screen out as many people as possible. So if you haven't done that, do that. Have an awesome day. Get out in nature, move your body, bust through mental barriers, take a little calculated risk every once in a while. Get out there and adventure yourself into the woods, even though you might not know what's going to happen. For instance, I'm kind of lost right now, honestly. I've never been to this park before, but that's okay. I know I'm going to find my way back. I'll see you later. Let me know what you're thinking. If you have any comments, questions about any of that stuff I talked about in this episode, just leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much. Bless you. Have an awesome day and an awesome spring. Listen to that. Do you hear that? Spring peepers. Check it out. There's a little pond just beyond us here. Springtime, renewal. Get out there. Interesting. Another quick lesson I just realized is when I walked through here, they all stopped. They stopped expressing themselves because a potential threat came into their environment. They stopped being who they were and just letting out what they were supposed to do. What are you doing whenever stress comes into your life? You're not fully expressing what you can be. You're not expressing your full potential. They're sitting there all curled up, waiting for me to leave so then they can express their potential again. Now that's a good thing to be able to have that response because it's a protective mechanism. But what if I bounced around here all the time and created threat for these animals? They wouldn't fully express themselves. They wouldn't fully be what they were meant to be. That's what can happen to you if your life is constantly under the clouds of stress. Look at this one, can't even stand it. He wants to be himself or herself. Anyway, think about that. So you have to remove those stressful pieces out of your life so you can fully express. That's what it's all about. Expansion, growth, renewal, being yourself, following your bliss into the woods. See you next time. Sorry for the extra clip. I just couldn't stand it.